Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. And this week I thought that I would chat a little bit about choosing colors because I get asked quite often how I go about picking and choosing colors for specific patterns, particularly not to point fingers, but at Stephen West, because if you are not familiar with his patterns are very well known for their exciting textures, shapes, and particularly color. And I know many of you have expressed, how you struggle to see past those crazy colorway combinations. Not that they're crazy, I'm just saying that they're just kind of out of your wheelhouse, out of your comfort zone, and won't necessarily fit into your personal wardrobe, if that makes sense. I definitely struggled coming up with different colorway combinations and seeing past those wild colors that don't necessarily speak to me, to my personal style. Hopefully today I can impart some tips and tricks to looking past those colors and coming up with your own colorway combinations that's going to make you happy and excited to knit a pattern. And I just want to say no shade to those who do embrace the color. Those of you who truly appreciate pops of color and all the colors of the rainbow all together in one shawl, you can certainly use this video to help you do it in reverse. If you do see a pattern out there where the colors are very subdued but you want to add some color in it, hopefully this video will help you as well. So let's take the Exploration Station by Stephen West, for example. I feel like that pattern is his most popular and most knit. I could be wrong, but it is a very popular pattern. I myself have knit the Exploration Station, which here it is. And as you can see, this is a very extremely muted palette. I actually dyed this out of my own hand-dyed yarns, Voolenvine yarns. Using 4 different colorways. And honestly, I did not struggle to come up with a color palette because I just had 4 skeins of yarn that I just liked the way that they played together. And when I saw the Exploration Station, I thought, that might look really cool in this shawl. So sometimes it will just come naturally to you. Other times you may need to pause, take a step back, and look at the pattern as a whole.
It's like the painting, see? From far away it's okay, but up close it's a big old mess.
One of my favorite tricks to seeing past all the color and finding a palette that will work for me personally is to take a photo of the sample from the pattern and bring it either into your phone or into Photoshop or some photo editing software. And remember, these are paid patterns, so this is just for your personal use only. Just want to put that in there just to put it in there. You're only manipulating this photo for your own personal use. So whatever program you're using, take that photo and desaturate it. Take color completely out of the equation so you're just looking at a black and white image of the FO. When you take color completely out of the equation, you're only paying attention now to the shape, the texture, and the different values of those colors. So I feel like that gives you a blank canvas, so now you can more easily start infusing your own color taste into the project. You'll be able to notice if the project calls for a lot of contrast. So if there's a super dark color and a super light color, you can pick and choose your favorite super dark or super light color. If there's a gradual fade from light to dark, you can pick, a gradient that suits your taste. And if you have your color palette or 2 color palettes, 3, 4, many color palettes picked out and you're still not sure which one to go with, repeat the process. Take a photo of said color palette, desaturate it, and see if the contrast and shades match up to the pattern. But let's say you desaturate the photo and there's a lot of contrast and you're not into the contrast. You can totally change it up. You can edit it to your liking. Remove some of the starkness, the lights, super lights and darks, and go more subtle. It's really up to you, but I feel like removing the saturation, taking color completely out of the equation will free up your mind and help you see past, the colors that you are presented with. That's how I generally go about seeing past a color palette that doesn't really suit my personal taste. And I hope you found that helpful. The next trick is also very helpful. And when I'm really, really struggling, really have no idea where to go, and I just need a little bit of guidance, I hop on over to Pinterest. Oh my goodness, my friends. Pinterest is a well. Is it a wealth or well of information? It is a rabbit hole of sorts when it comes to color palettes. I feel like there are so many on there that you can just search to your heart's desire. Let's say a pattern you want to knit calls for 5 different colorways. Just hop on Pinterest and search 5 color palette, and you should be presented with a plethora of different options. If there's a particular color that you want to gravitate towards, likewise, incorporate that color into your search, and again, you will be presented with a whole bunch of options to choose from. And I absolutely love Pinterest for this. Case in point, I knit Stephen West's Daybreak Shawl many moons ago, and I don't have it with me to show you today because unfortunately, years ago, it succumbed to a plague of moths, and sadly, I had to discard of it. It was a very sad day because I truly love that shawl, and yeah, I was just so proud of it. It was one of my first shawls that I ever knit, but I used a color palette that I found on Pinterest, a palette that I fell in love with and saw Stephen West's Daybreak Shawl, and I thought these colors would look beautiful in this shawl, and that's what I did. I'm happy to report though that I did knit another Daybreak Shawl. Unlike my first Daybreak Shawl, which used five different colorways, this only uses 2. This is a really great example just to show you how you can, play around, tweak the color palette to your liking. The other one was very contrasty, very stark and bright and light. This one's very dark and moody. And in case you're wondering, I knit this using Jinx yarns, which was hand dyed by my dear friend Laura, who's out in Texas. She used to be the dyer behind Jinx yarns, but sadly is no longer dyeing. She was one of my gateway drugs into indie dyed yarn, and dare I say, inspired me to start dyeing yarns. She was the one who sparked my interest in trying it in the first place. So Laura, if you're watching, I love you. But anyway, needless to say, the shawl is very special to me. And yeah, it's just easily one of my favorite projects that I've ever knit. And yeah, just to show you that you can knit a Stephen West pattern without going off the deep end with the crazy color combinations. And I make it sound bad. It's like, seriously guys, I just want to reiterate again that I am not by any means trying to knock anybody who loves colorful colorway combinations. They completely make my heart sing, and it just, for me personally, my own personal wardrobe, I tend to gravitate towards moody, dark, and muted shades. And many of you lovely viewers have reached out asking me to do a video like this, just trying to help you see past color palettes that are just, not your jam, if that makes any sense. So, just trying to demystify things here, guys. I mean, case in point, I knit this shawl. This is a pattern by Sosu Knits, who is Susanne Sommer. This is her Lovey Baby. I think she designed it in collaboration with the yarn shop Do You Knit, hence why she called it Lovey Baby. I just knit this for the pure joy of knitting with color. I do not wear this at all, but I just love the color combinations in here. It just, yeah, makes my heart sing so much. But yes, if you're out there looking at the shawl and thinking, oh my goodness, that is so bright, I could never knit something like that, you can take a photo of the shawl, desaturate the photo, and just start plugging and playing colorways that are more to your liking. Again, I do not wear this shawl because it just doesn't suit my style. I just kind of keep it and just stare at it lovingly because I just love the way that the colors play together. I am considering maybe gifting it to somebody in my family. I don't know, whoever wants it, they can have it. But yeah, I just appreciate it for the color play that's happening in here. And then, yeah, another example of how of toning down a Stephen West pattern is his Smocket Shawl. This is easily one of my favorite shawls that I've ever knit. That was a Stephen West pattern. This is probably, no, I have it on the wrong side. This is the correct side. I mean, this is a bona fide schlanket, my friends. It is huge. So, yeah, and if you look at the pattern, the sample on the pattern, it is, lots of bright neon, bold, crazy colorways, which leads me to tip number 3. Go monochromatic, because if you look at this is a very monochromatic palette. You start off with a light color, you go to medium, and then you go to something that's very dark. Pick one color that you really like and find other colors in that same color family. So the way that I went about choosing colors for this was that I had this one skein in my stash. I believe this was by Skein Queen. I cannot get away from Skein Queen. I love her colorways. Yeah, I had this beautiful skein of Skein Queen in my stash that I picked up from the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. And because the Smocket Shawl called for 3 different colorways, I simply found 2 other colorways in the same color family as this. And as you can see, I believe this is the Woolen Rabbit in her Chambord colorway, which is a very dark plummy purple. And then I went lighter, which is this beautiful La Bien-Aimée skein in, I forget what colorway this is. I'll pop it in the down bar, but I really love the way that these three colors play together. And as you can see, they're very muted, very subdued, moody shades. And I think it knit up beautifully. I mean, I will say, I don't think that these blended together very well, but when all is said and done and this is, you know, wrapped around your person, it all just blends together really lovely. So going monochromatic, choosing colors in the same color family is another way to go. But if there is an instance where, you know, you do want to add, you know, some kind of contrast in there, the color wheel can really help you out here. That's where complementary colors come into play. So if you look at the color wheel, I know I bring up this example all the time when I'm talking about color. Let's say I wanted to add a little contrast to this, you know, dare I say a pop of color, and I just don't know what. Looking at purple on the color wheel, directly across from purple is going to be your complementary color. Any colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel are called complementary colors, and those are always going to play well together. The phrase opposites attract really come into play here. So when in doubt, you can always refer to the color wheel. And if you don't want the contrast, you can always refer to adjacent colorways. Any colors directly next to a particular color are definitely going to play well. And then you can also go down, like in towards the center of the color wheel and, you know, pick lighter and darker colors in the same color values and family. Anyway, I'm sure you get the gist at this point. But that said, those are my 3 tips for looking past a color palette that's just not vibing with you. So I hope you found this video helpful. Now it's your turn. Let us know your favorite tips and tricks for a situation like this. I would love to know, and I'm sure a lot of you lovely viewers would love to know extra tips and tricks as well. And if you're new here, welcome to my little corner of the interwebs. If you haven't already, I highly encourage that you like and subscribe down below. I put out videos to your viewing pleasure every week. And until the next video, have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!